Hi everyone, I'm Kareen and I did a previous video on this pattern to help get the pattern right. I'm learning along with doing this myself, and as I've come across issues, I'm looking up, trying to find videos as well, just to try and work it out in my head and not finding anything. So I've done the back piece of this pattern already, the Boogie Nights vest, and so this is the back piece, and I've done the decrease for this, which is shown on the A2 little diagram, where you slip stitch across. So, and that looks, for me, that's fine for the armhole, and then we've got the top. And then I've followed the pattern for the neck this is for the back. But as I've come across the pattern and the decrease for one of the fronts, or probably for both of the fronts, this is I can't remember which front I'm doing at the minute. I think it's the right one. The decrease that's shown in A3 is what's called a half repeat decrease of the pattern. But so I've followed this. So this is the arm section, and I've got to the point where this is the decrease for the neckline, and so it's this side that I'm doing, and for me it just looks weird. I don't know whether it's because I'm a little bit on the OCD side of things. I don't like it when it doesn't look right, because obviously I've got to a point where I will be carrying on and it will be straight for the front part up to the shoulder. So I don't like these. These don't look too bad, but these pieces just look bizarre. The fact that they're going to be on your chest as well, up the front. So it actually depicts it here. So I'm going to unpick it. I'm going to frog it down to here. So I don't mind this initial piece, but I don't see why we have to have that half of like this pattern. So we've still got like that half up here. I don't know why we have to have it. So I'm going to have a think about it and then have a little bit of a twiddle with it and see if I can do it so that we don't have this bump. So yes, so I'm going to this video, and then I'm going to stitch together the next video so you can see what I've managed to do, and I'll try and explain it so to help you if you want to do it this way. I mean, some people might like the frilly effect of this pattern on the chest, but I just think it's really odd that it's just for this section for the decreasing, and then it's going to be straight up to the shoulder. So anyway, I will have a little think and I will have a little twiddle, and then I'll see if I can remember what I've done and then show you how to do it so that it makes it look a little bit nicer, so that we don't have this extra bit. So I will pause the video, and then you'll probably be getting the other video stitched next to it. Right, I tried various things, but this one I think you should still get the same amount of stitches. Don't quote me on it. But with this pattern, obviously it's saying you could do a half decrease, a half repeat decrease. But I didn't like the fact that it sort of stuck out like a bump. So I just got rid of the two treble crochets, and just had the chain 4. So this is what that looks like. So obviously as the decrease started, here would have been the half decrease, but I just left it at the chain 4 and then carried on with that. and then this row was the decrease, so you stopped at that post and again just chained 4 and carried on with the pattern. So for me this looks a little bit better. It still looks frilly and it's still stretchy because I chained 4 instead of just the 3, and then yeah, so it's still stretchy, it still looks good, and maybe not as odd as it would have done with, for me personally. So you might like this version rather than the other version. So that's what I did. So I'm hoping that the numbers all line up for everybody else on the different sizes, but on the small it's all lined up. So yes, so that's what that looks like. So that's all I changed. I just didn't do the two treble crochets. I just did the chain 4 and then carried on with the pattern. So I hope that helps somebody if they want it to look a little less bumpy. Right, after I did my last video, I showed you what I'd done for the right side decrease on the chest. And then I had an hideous thought that it wouldn't work on the other side because obviously the decrease for the left hand side is different. On the A3 pattern you have to slip stitch 3 stitches, and obviously we don't have this because we got rid of it on the other side. So I just had to have a little bit of a think and then just a little bit of a twiddle as I was doing it, just to make sure it looked similar to the other side. It has come out a little bit chunkier because of you slip stitch in 3 across. So here it looks roughly about the same because we just slip stitch over those stitches that are already here, so we slip stitch to keep them, and then this row is the same, but then the decrease, because obviously we just chained 4 on that side, I think it was, but here it ended up that I did on the previous row you ended with a treble crochet and then on the next row you slip stitched a 3. So it's just a case of using your imagination a little bit and making sure that it looks roughly the same. I think it was slip stitched 3. It does look like I have done that. So it's just a case of having a twiddle and then making sure it sort of looks like your other side, because obviously you're not following the pattern, just the fact that you decrease by slip stitching. So yes, this is how it's turned out on mine. I mean, I have used a different cotton yarn, then Drops have suggested to use one of their cotton yarns, but I think it would look the same anyway. Most cotton yarns are the same when you're working with them. Some are a little thinner, but this one's quite nice. I do like Serdar's cotton, it's nice. But yes, so it has worked out okay. I did notice as I was working that the numbers for the number of stitches on the small size in the pattern is slightly odd. It worked out that I had 30 stitches instead of 31, and then at the end of the decreasing rows it says that you should end up with 19 stitches, but I ended up with 18. So it's just the 1 stitch, but it still worked, it still looks fine. So I don't know whether that was just a typo on the pattern or it's just me. It might be. So yes, so it's just using your imagination, really. I mean, most of you that are starting out with crochet, like right at the beginning, it would be difficult to try and wrap your head around it. I mean, I'm still struggling and been crocheting for a few years now. But yes, so for me, it's still a little bit chunky on this side, but I think I'm hoping once I've soaked it and blocked it, it would look a little bit, a little bit softer. And yeah, so I mean, I'm fairly pleased with it. I'm not 100% happy, but I just didn't like the fact that there was like quite a pronounced bump on the chest. So for me personally, I prefer this version. So yes, I'll just, if that's something that you'd prefer as well, then by all means you can hopefully follow what I've done. But yes, I hope that's helped somebody, as I've been struggling with this pattern. But yes, so hopefully you'll all have fun and end up with your lovely item at the end of it. So thank you for watching my videos and take care.